New Lions quarterback Jared Goff says to Mike Silver of NFL Media, "I'm just excited to be somewhere that I know wants me and appreciates me." Well, they appreciated you for a while in LA, Jared. They gave up a bunch of stuff to trade up to get you 5 years ago, and then they gave you that big contract. Just something happened. Something caused it to go off the rails. And I keep thinking of that missed throw to Brandon Cooks in Super Bowl 53, Chris. I can't quit thinking about that because I'm telling you, they tried it in the first half. We broke that down. It missed. He didn't see him. He threw it underneath to Robert Woods. Cooks was wide open. They got a 25-minute halftime. They talked about it, I'm sure. They planned to do it again. They did it. It popped, and Goff didn't see it in time. That was the moment that I was like, is this guy really? Is he really top level? And maybe that was when the seed of doubt was planted. They still paid him. They still tried to work it out, but they ultimately came to the conclusion that he had to go. So the Lions welcomed Jared Goff to town. He's got some big shoes to fill in the production that Matthew Stafford had. And you look around, where's Robert Woods? Where's Cooper Kupp? What do they really have there? They haven't signed Kenny Golladay yet. I don't know if they're going to use the franchise tag or not. But the Lions, a lesser team with far lesser accomplishments than the Rams, obviously, it's not going to be an easy spot for Goff. Yeah, good news is you're in a place where they want you. Bad news is look around. It's going to be tough to have the kind of success you had in L.A.
Well, definitely. I mean, there's no doubt about that. When you look at their football team, I mean, there's a lot of question marks with the Detroit Lions. Plus, you don't know really what direction they're going to go now with all the new leadership. You know, what's going to be there. But you talk about, oh, yeah, there's a good tight end, good running back, offensive line's okay, right? They're obviously going to be a running football team, or at least based on that, I believe, with Dan Campbell as your head coach and Anthony Lynn as your offensive coordinator. They're going to play that style of game to where I don't think they're going to be asking Jared Goff to drop back 40 times a game and do all that. But we got the Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones. You know, their contract situations. I think they're both free agents. Stan,
yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, there's a lot of things that need to be juggled there. There definitely is. But obviously, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell signed off on trusting Jared Goff. And they're okay with playing, you know, a style of football that they feel like they can make work around his skill set. But I think it's going to be, you know, a year or two before we see this team kind of turn the corner and start to head in the right direction.
You know, and Anthony Lynn, the new offensive coordinator, had worked with Phillip Rivers for several years with the Chargers, and I made the comment during the break that Goff kind of reminds me of a stretched-out Phillip Rivers, similar throwing motion, right, similar mobility. They're going to have their work cut out for him to get the most out of Goff. And I could see Chris Spielman, who's now part of the organization. I don't really know what he does, and I don't think he really knows what he does. But I could see him trying to toughen Jared Goff up a little bit. You know, we're going to toughen you up, you California boy. We're going to get you tough. We're going to get you ready to play in the cold. Oh, and you know that narrative that, you know, is a narrative because we saw it happen, although he did play better when they went to Green Bay a couple of weeks ago. They're going to be at Green Bay. They're going to be at Chicago. They're going to be at Cleveland. They're going to be at Pittsburgh this year. So depending upon when those games are scheduled, Goff's going to have to leave the friendly confines of that dome and be ready to play in the elements potentially. And, you know, hey, this may be the kick in the butt he needs. Maybe this is exactly the developmental boost that's going to cause him to just break out of whatever maybe complacency set in once he got paid. We were speculating last week on that possibility, that one of the reasons the Rams were being so blunt and candid in their criticism was he's got a little complacent since he got paid. Well, now you get dumped by a team that disrespects you openly before they do it. That's going to give you a chip on the shoulder, right? If you never were that guy that was going to show up and grab someone by the shirt collar, maybe you are now. And now I remember interviewing Jared Goff when he was entering the draft 5 years ago, and I remember thinking, this guy's too nice. You got to have a little. You don't have to be a complete and total jerk like me, right? But you got to have a little edge to you to be quarterback in the NFL. He had none. Now again, that was 5 years ago, but I think that the Lions will find a way to instill that a little bit, and this trade, I think, will cause him to bring a little bit more of a willingness to be kind of a jerk, kind of a butthole to the table.
Well, I mean, it might. It certainly can toughen you up, these type of things, as far as where you just become, you know, a man as far as NFL terms are considered, just because, yeah, you thought you were in a place where we had a good relationship and things seemed well. And now, you know, I've been scarred because the relationship wasn't what I thought. So he could be a different guy altogether. I doubt that, though. We've seen none of that. What is there to show us that there's any fire there or that he's going to turn the corner? Maybe Dan Campbell and Anthony Lynn can get that out of him, but I would think that probably is part of the frustration of the Rams as well, is that attitude. And McVay sometimes probably going, wait, I'm not the quarterback. Why do I always got to talk to the offense to get everybody spruced up and ready to go on a big drive of the football game? I think that's part of the issue there. So I'm extremely interested to see how this goes. I don't really have a whole lot of doubt that the Matthew Stafford McVay thing is going to be pretty good. The Jared Goff, Anthony Lynn, Detroit Lions experiment, I got questions. I got to see it. I got to see it to believe it. I'm just sorry. The game has been served on a silver platter for Jared Goff for his whole career. Very rarely has he had to, hey, wait, the offense isn't working, guys. I'll figure it out. I'll make big throws today, whatever it may be. It's always been made very easy to him and curtailed to his talents. And he was never asked to do anything outside of his own comfort zone. And to me, that's what I'm going to be interested to see as well, because he's not going to get all these easy completions. We showed the stats from earlier today. Nobody throws the ball shorter. Nobody in football. It's air yards, completions, they're all right there at the line of scrimmage consistently with him. And it's just hard to win that way this day and age in the NFL, even when you have the best defense and a good play caller. And I think that's going to be the thing I'm going to be really, really interested to see how that plays out.
And part of the reality for both teams in this trade and any other transactions like this that are made over the course of the next several weeks, the offseason program may be as curtailed and or non-existent as it was in 2020. There's been no indication that normalcy is going to return for the NFL when April rolls around, with all the guys showing up at the facility again and the practices and all that. And even though they got through a full season when they needed to practice and play, you don't need to do it in the offseason. And what did we hear from the NFLPA all season long? We don't need this. We don't need this offseason. We don't need it ever. We definitely don't need it in a pandemic. So Goff may not get the on-field opportunities to get comfortable with this new offense, whatever they're going to concoct for him. And Stafford may be limited as well, Chris. And that's just something to keep in mind when you go veteran for veteran,
Definitely.
or really anybody. Draft a guy, whatever, you're going to be doing it on the fly like we saw so many teams have to do it in 2020. One quick note on the Rams that I forgot to mention. They're bringing Stafford in without any type of a new contract. He's under contract for 2 more years, $20 million this year, $23 million next year. Look, yeah, he doesn't want more money, but also from the Rams' perspective, what kind of security do you have for everything you gave up? They did the same thing with Jalen Ramsey. They brought him in without security, and it gives the guy more leverage when it's time to talk. So, yeah, Stafford's like, hey, I don't want a new deal. Yeah, I've got all the leverage. I hold all the cards. At some point, they're going to have to pay me because they gave up those first-round picks to get me.
Yeah, I mean, it could very easily be. You're right. But I think the point of it all, and to just like when you just listen, I was just listening to you, right, and you were saying that, I think they're going, we don't care. We just wanted to get rid of Jared Goff, and we did. And I think that's all they care about. And they're going to figure everything else as they go. But they're happy with the guy they got. And I think for 2 years, they'll go with him, and they'll figure out as they go. And I don't think Matthew Stafford is, going to be that kind of guy to ask for more money or do that right now. He's made a ton of money in his career, and I think he's going to just be very happy to be in a new environment and feel re-energized by that.
This clearly doesn't help the Lions now. They get a 3rd-round pick from the Rams in 2021. The first-round picks start next year. I mean, they get Goff, but Goff, as you'll say, and you said right out of the gates when we started the show, Goff is a lesser quarterback than Stafford. The Lions have taken a step back. And they're not going to come out and say that. They're not going to put that on a banner. Hey, fans, we're committed to continue to stink at least for 1 more year. But that's the message that's sent by this trade. We've sacrificed the guy who's been here 12 years, who is a much better quarterback than the one we've inherited. We don't get any first-round picks for him until next year. They reportedly could have had the 8th overall pick from the Carolina Panthers, plus more, and they said no thank you to that. Now they would have had to find a quarterback otherwise. Maybe they could have gotten Teddy Bridgewater plus the 8th overall pick, right? Throw in Teddy. They're done with Teddy, and they're getting Stafford. So what the hell? We'll give up Teddy.
Yeah, no, but my understanding in that one right there, Mike, is that was a team that was, crossed off the list by Matthew Stafford. That's my understanding of the situation. That was one of the I know you wrote on Pro Football Talk yesterday about the New England Patriots, and that was a no-no.
That was Tom Curran. Tom Curran's report was that Stafford initially said anyone but the Patriots.
Okay, I got you. Sorry, I didn't mean to misrepresent or anything like that. But yeah, I think them, and I've been told by a very reliable source that he kind of squashed the Carolina thing. So I don't think he wanted to happen. He was trying to steer this conversation into a team where he felt comfortable and wanted to play for and live there. And I think that's where the Rams really, made a lot of sense for Stafford.
Did he look into that state income tax in California before he made that decision?
You don't even have to look at that when you already have what he's got in the bank. He's like, what? Wait, they have taxes here? I got 9 figures in the bank. Big deal.
That guy has made well over $200 million since entering the NFL in 2009 because he was one of the last ones to get that jackpot first overall draft pick before they took that away in 2011.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.